Huh. Exploring self-awareness through shared experience? Is that the Dryftwood podcast?
That's what we're about to find out.
Daniel the Wizard.
Howdy, y'all. Fox here.
This is the Dryftwood podcast, of course. So, who are you?
Me?
Yeah, who are you, man?
I'm a traveler of both time and space. To be where I've been, to sit with the elders of the gentle race, this world has seldom seen. They talk of days for which they sit and wait. All will be revealed.
Little cashmere for you.
Little totes of cash, little cashmere taste.
A little heavy on the lead, light on the Zeppelin.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so today we're going to give you the tits on imagining your current self having knowledge of your future self. So basically, you now can see your future selves live. So we're going to discuss what the potential consequences are. Would it change your actions? And privacy issues. Hello.
Privacy. Speaking of privacy
issues.
Daniel just
Marco
had a wild feral pussy jump on him.
with the dangalang.
Yeah. Hey, Marco.
He's a rescue Marco.
Yeah, sorry.
With no polo. Are you looking for your Marco? Are you a polo looking for your Marco?
Nice. That's cute.
Yeah, just jump right up on. I guess the light shining on the thing. So, yeah, we're recording outside again as usual. But this time we're set up. We actually got some pictures this time of how we set up. So look on buymeacoffee.com/Dryftwood to see the pictures. That's the only spot they're going to be at. Sorry, guys. Got to make some things exclusive.
See how we do it. See how we roll.
Yeah, man. It's really cool how we set up on the fly. We improvise like crazy. It's really cool.
It's almost like a feral podcast.
Literally every time we record, it's a completely different setup, but with the same equipment. And then we have to find different ways to make things work, man.
We've gotten really good at utilizing our equipment. And now I have to kind of say the last couple of episodes, we figured out for certain that these mics we're using now are the ones we want to be using. Yeah, the other two, we were testing the other ones out to see the quality. They're okay. They're really okay. They're good backup mics maybe, but I think we're going to try to invest in, having 4 of the same mics so that way when we have guests on, it's a shared quality. Yeah. Otherwise, whenever we have guests on, man, I'm going to have to take one of those crap mics. I'm not going to let the guests come on and be sounding all trash. Well, I think in a very controlled environment, those 2 mics are okay. But as soon as there's outside background noise, anything like that, really not so much.
Yeah, but maybe a hard spot too, maybe too difficult. But anyway, so
right,
that check us out at buymeacoffee.com/Dryftwood. Get more on that stuff. So, so we're going to discuss the potential consequences of imagining your current self having knowledge of your future self. Would it change your actions and privacy issues? And then Marco jumped on my lap, so that's the reiteration. Yeah, so David, imagine your current self had knowledge of your future self's actions. Imagine that.
That'd be insane.
So
crazy.
Yeah, imagine that. So, what are the potential consequences of that, though? Like good or bad? Like, what consequences are neither good nor bad? They just are the consequences, whatever. Right. I just want to be clear on that because it kind of has a negative connotation, but
possibly,
potentially, depending on your perspective.
Well, initially I was thinking, so we do things with the best intention, but then again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, as they say. So, but what
about the stairway to heaven?
Yeah, nice.
Led Zeppelin.
Nice bit of lead, yeah.
Boom, we might be able to tag them now. We've mentioned it twice.
At least twice, yeah. So far. But yeah, so we've been talking a lot recently about choosing a path, living in, making conscious decisions, and living in intent, a purpose-driven life. All these kind of things we've been talking a lot about lately. And so when we make a decision, we but with that philosophy, all those philosophies in mind, we try to make the best possible decision that we can make, right, with the best possible outcome. However, we don't really ever know what that actual outcome will be until we've made the decision, carried out the action, and seen the consequences. Now, the thing with knowing what your future self knows is you would already know what happens depending on what you do. So if I decide to turn left, I know what's going to happen. If I decide to turn right, I know what's going to happen. So that presents me now with more information which I could probably, well, maybe make a better decision, but it would be a more complex decision.
Yeah, I watched Back to the Future 2 yesterday.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I just realized that that's why this question was so interesting to me, because I was watching Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten synchronicity, yeah.
Wow, because that's exactly where they go. And then he sees his future self, and he makes that deal with needles, and he gets fired from his job. Right? Oh, shit. That's why it was so intriguing to me. But David, what if you go to your future self and you realize you're a fucking serial killer, bro?
Right, if you realize you're going to be a serial. Well, I guess your options are either just embrace it if that's what's going to happen.
Just lean into it,
lean
man.
Into it,
lean
or
into it.
Commit suicide. But I guess if your future is to be a serial killer, you've already know that, then you're not going to commit suicide.
But why would you have become a serial killer?
Because you failed to commit suicide. You're frustrated suicide attemptee.
Well, you know what? That is the side effect of depression, is homicidal thoughts, right? Some people are homicidal thoughts, some people are suicidal thoughts.
Well, yes. I mean, this is one of those.
Damn it,
themes.
mental health awareness again, man. I guess that's what we're about.
Yeah, no, from like
sorry, this always comes up.
From hostage negotiators or police negotiators, there comes this thing that homicide is very, very closely linked to suicide. So if someone's suicidal, they may cross that line and become homicidal. And when someone's homicidal, they may very well cross the line and become suicidal.
If something garners their attention enough, that rage can be instilled.
Refocused.
That way.
Yes.
Yeah. Dangerous. Yeah, that's, listen, that might be like those mass shooting things too. Don't want to get it too deep on that. But anyways, listen, what if you saw that you were really successful and you went to jail for laundering money?
Is that successful?
Well, no, that you were successful and then you went to jail for laundering money. But I guess the measure of success would determine on what you were trying to be successful at. You were good at a time at laundering money, I would suppose.
I guess it depends how comfortable the cell is.
Maybe that was your retirement. You were just laundering money as your retirement because you needed something to do, and you were good at accounting.
Listen, when you're homeless, it's a good strategy to go to jail. So when you want to retire, maybe that's likewise a good strategy. Just like spend your last days in comfort, 3 meals a day in a square, whatever. 3 squares. What is it?
3 hots in a cot.
Yeah, 3 hots in a cot. Yeah.
It's like feeding at a cattle trough. You give them a place to sleep, eat and shit.
Right. It's like for the retired. When you put the old race horses to pasture, they're done doing crime. They can't handle it.
Yeah, they can't handle it anymore. They just send them to Australia.
Oh, repopularize. I think the current Australians might have an issue with that.
Yeah, they're cool people, I think.
So Daniel, what do you think your future self might get up to, and what do you think how you might react to that?
All right, so there's a lot of possibilities here, considering the fact that every day I'm faced with new challenges, and often I respond in the way that I would like to, but sometimes I don't. So let's assume that I get it right every time, right? Just boom, 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 boom. I'm making all the right decisions, doing all the right things. Everything's going the way that it should go, and I'm learning all the things I should learn, and everything's finger guns, right?
Nice.
Everything's going my way, right? Assuming that thing is that. Dude, I can disappear in like fucking 15 years and I could be living in Costa Rica doing whatever the fuck I want, right? I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about income. I don't have to worry about existing in that world anymore. I've exceeded that level. I could be doing that. So if me now sees that that's a potential and it still looks appealing, here's the thing. It may not look appealing from the perspective of seeing what it took to get there. It may not seem like, wow, that's not really worth that anymore.
Of course you would know that because that's all part of your future self.
Right. So that now there's another potential there. So now assuming that I thought that was still a good outcome, like holy shit, like I can achieve that. Wow, that's really cool. I think that I would be really inspired to continue to pursue that. That's assuming everything went the way that it was supposed to.
Right.
The potential, right? But that doesn't mean that it has to, but in my mind, if that's the best outcome of this situation.
The thing is also, though, if you do know that may affect your actions now, and maybe not you're conscious, but you know, like when you know something really cool and exciting is going to happen very soon, and you get all excited and jittery and nervous, and you start behaving all irrationally, and then you go and mess everything up because you were just a nervous wreck.
Oh yeah,
And
every time I talk to a female as a teenager.
And the cool thing never happened.
Yep, nope, never dated me.
So that's a nice vivid illustration. But yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Listen, in high school, I had poofy fucking hair, and I wore fucking bootcut jeans with Converse with plaid shirts, and I'd put a part in my hair, and I'd have this fucking afro poof with a part. I don't know. I thought I was with Roots, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Nice.
So, yeah, no, I thought I was in the 70s, and thought I was being fucking cool, man. I was really going against the grain. Me and my homie was doing it.
And you know what you were saying the other day is that you found that you can't believe now that you never would have been able to imagine where you are now, like back then. So what if you had? What if you had like with your poofy barbershop like Roots hair? See now where you're at. How do you think that might have affected your decision making back then, or the things you chose to do or not do?
Bro, it would have made life boring.
Do you think so?
I think I would have missed on a lot.
The excitement of mess ups?
Well, no, honestly, no, it's not the excitement of the mess up. It's the realization that it was a mess up and you didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
The realization that you could have done something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's the empowering thing that people have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you don't get that if you see it's like, oh, fuck, man. I don't know. I think that it would really, thinking about me then,
mm-hmm.
like, man, that's fucking, like, what are you, it's boring, man. What are you doing? You don't do shit.
I don't know. If I was going to ask my own question, if I may, I have the feeling that there would be a balance between increased hesitation in decision making, a longer decision making process, as in deciding to do something because you're considering more variables, more implications, but also so there'd be that hesitation. But also I think ultimately your decisions would be more productive if you're able to spend that little bit of extra time discerning what the best possible outcome is, and then devoting your energy to that.
Well, see, I'm trying to view it from the perspective of what my capability of viewing it was as that 16-year-old teenager, right?
Sure.
And I really would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you doing, man?
So I don't know if it's too soon to move on to the third point, but if you were 16, how would you feel about your 16-year-old self seeing some of the stuff that you got up to more recently? Like,
I can't believe you did that, man. I can't believe you did that. That would be I can't believe what I can't believe you did that. Wow. I never thought you did that though. We did. Wow. Okay. I never thought we would do that. So here we are now. Now I have to look forward to that experience, I suppose. What if you can't change it? What if you have to go through it?
Well, that's another thing about the time and free will.
You have to go through the terrible experiences, even though you know they're coming. You're like, oh shit, this is that spot that I didn't want to do.
Yeah, but what if you made some drastic decision that completely diverted you from that?
They'd have to be pretty drastic because that's a pretty heavy current, man.
Well, like say you moved to another country.
Because of war or something?
Well, no, I just mean to, like, okay, so you.
Sorry, I'm just being silly.
Use your 16-year-old, just hypothetically saying.
That's what I'm
you
trying to
wanted to avoid the things that you were going to experience, the difficulties. So then what if you said, well, all those things occurred here around about this place, so what if I just go
to Portsmouth and run into you still?
Yeah, well, maybe that could happen. That could have happened.
What if, man? Listen, what about an alternative about how we met in the UK instead of in the US?
In a bar.
Because at 16, I saw my future, and I'm like, nah, fuck that, bro. I don't want to go through all that shit. I'm going to go hit the fucking trail and see what happens this way.
That would actually, you're right, that would offer actually the possibilities of creating shortcuts to certain objectives or individuals or experiences.
What if I saw the future and you didn't, and I knew that I was going to have to interact with you at some point, so I tried to just go interact with you a little bit sooner?
Right. Why wait 10, 20 years to just get it done, you know?
Wow. That's a potential, though, and we could still have had the same similar outcome. It just looked a little different.
It would be different because it happened earlier. There would be a more limited data set.
The world that it existed in would have been different.
Right. Sorry, I'm getting a little autistic, like geek speak there, but basically, all your experiences add up to how much data you have, and if we were to meet sooner, the data we would have acquired, the experiences we would have acquired, have less of those.
Yeah, but we could have acquired different experiences, though it would have taken down a different path, because if I already saw the future of one way, I'm like, I got us covered here, bro. Just trust me. Just trust me. Let's go see this thing over here.
Nice.
That's important.
Yeah.
Because they talk about this in the news in the future, man. Let's go see this thing. Let's just go look at it. Let's say we were there. So I can set us up for those experiences. You know what I'm saying? Play the game how it's set up.
Well, you know, with the whole predictive everything, with the stuff going on right now, the quote-unquote revelations, as far as the cough goes, I think people should go back and listen to our What Should China Do episode, because we kind of preempted all this.
Yeah, listen, it was a little bit rudimentary in the expression, but it was raw information that we were trying to reduce down in conversation. So we were trying to give our tits on it, right? If you think about tits, our Dryftwood thoughts, ideas, theories, and stories, you go listen to What You China Do, and we talk about the breakdown of all of the things that are happening in China. And this was, I think it was a year ago, man.
The speculation about the lab, possible lab outbreak. Yep.
Yeah, but Zach, go check that out. I think it was number 19. Number 19.
Anyway, I'm not trying to promote us as future seers or anything
listen,
like that.
Yes, we are. But anyways, he's not trying to promote that, but I am claiming that I am a future seer. I dare you to challenge me.
Oh yeah,
challenge me. Am I not a future seer?
Can you see these nuts in the future?
Yeah, they're full of cyanide.
I like almonds.
Almonds, yeah. Yeah, fucking James dropping that shit. I actually didn't know that when y'all were engaging about almond cyanide.
So almond milk is cyanide juice?
Ooh. I saw this ad today for soy milk.
Oh, yeah.
And it said, it's like cow milk, but made for humans. I'm like, you silly bitch. No, it's not. That's also not made for humans.
No, soy is made from the parts that are supposed to make soy plants. You meanie.
You fucking mutilating plants to make your stupid juice.
I know.
Jesus, you and your mutilating plants. Man, I care more about plants. No, I don't. I care equally. But anyways, mutilating plants to consume it. So disgusting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The humanity of it.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing that we need those things to survive. What a sick fucking world.
Yeah, why can't we just breathe? Why can't we just breathe in nutrients or something?
Maybe they're just
I see myself in the future as breathing in nutrients.
What if in the future you figure out a way to just inhale like your nutrients? Like you don't actually have to consume food. You have to do, but listen, here's the problem. If you do not do those things, you have to exercise that stuff so that you can still do those things.
Is that right?
Right, well, think about it.
What do you mean? How do you mean?
Well, if you don't chew all the time anymore, then you don't have the jaw strength to chew if you need to chew something.
Well, that's what I have my rescue inhaler for. 7 vital nutrients and minerals.
Can you imagine the shape of a human changing if you don't have to chew anymore?
Yeah, slack jaw, motherfucker.
I think is that what we're trying to do, man? Because we used to have these big broad jaws that could chompa stuff.
We're just going to be gummies. We're just going
to be old dudes gumming shit.
Yeah.
Looking like Popeye, no teeth.
I don't know why gummies came to mind, but anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe that's something for the future.
Ooh, yeah. Stay tuned, guys. We're talking to some gummies people. Some CBD gummies, so stay tuned, guys.
Right.
And also, if you want to check out the Instagram, you may be able to catch a hint. But anyhow, so whenever I think of the idea of looking at myself in the future, right, we wrote down the 3 things of what are the potential consequences, would that change your actions, and the privacy issues, right? So,
yes.
If the potential consequences of those things, man, like if I see what I can achieve, does that create a conflict? Because now I realized that like if I fuck up now, there's that stress of messing that up too. Right? Now there's the pressure of your decisions being made based upon that outcome, right? You've limited yourself. You've focused in on something, and when you're looking at something, you're not seeing things. Right? You're looking, you're searching.
Right.
But it doesn't, when you're searching, you can't see what's there. It's like when we were sitting here, we were looking down at the rocks under our feet, and I was like, oh, cool, look down. We saw the little thing. I was like, that'd be great for a bonsai tree, and it has little shell things in it. And you're like, it's amazing what you see when you just look. I said, no, it's actually amazing what you see when you quit looking. Because I wasn't expecting to see that, but I saw it, and I was like, boom, so many ideas are available because I wasn't contrived.
You found it by not looking for anything.
Yeah, I saw it.
And therefore, the thing that was to be found,
it allowed me to find it.
Right.
Because I wasn't looking for it. When you stop looking for answers, you start finding answers. But how do you know how to look for answers if you don't know?
Well, by that analogy, then you're saying that knowing of your future self is actually a negative thing because that provides a lot of answers.
It could be. That could be a consequence. That could be a negative thing. It could be. Could be.
Well, I mean, it's possible that knowing, like, every time you do something, knowing what the future implications are, may become so overwhelming that you become paralyzed to not do anything. That you break down to the point where, like, no matter what I do, it's going to result in some kind of disaster. Just not, like, don't do anything.
Yeah, like the scenario.
Check out time.
The scenario given earlier is like, hey, you die or you go to a building, it catches on fire. You see how it plays out. You go down the stairs, you die. You jump out the window, you die. But then you decide also, maybe, what if I don't go to work? What if you can see multiple different scenarios, right? And then you see that if you go to that building that day, you die. So you can only see two. You see those two. You're like, okay, well, I'm not going to that fucking building.
That sounds really awful. Not only dying at work, but in a burning building.
Well, maybe it's not work. Maybe you're in court for something. I don't know.
Dying at court in a burning court.
Yeah, so just avoid court that day. That's bad advice. Do not avoid court unless you have good
Unless
reason.
it's on fire. If the court is on fire.
Well, if you arrive there and it's on fire, and also, what if?
Yeah, I'm not trying to encourage. I'm not trying to encourage.
You know what? What if in that analogy you missed the part? What if they're the one that actually set the fire
in the court, and that's why they're in there?
Yeah, well, no, that's not why they're in there. That's why they're trying to get the fuck out because they set the fire. They're like, oh, shit, I didn't expect it to set this fast. They're like, oh, damn, I got to get out of here.
Well, in that case, they get what they deserve because that's stupid.
That's you.
That's me? Damn.
That's you. That's future you, man.
Set fire to my court.
Yeah, you're going to go to court. What court? Is it a galaxy court? Oh, what if you can see into the future and you realize that there's like space travel and shit and you get back. You're like hella excited. You're like, oh, my God, I can't fucking wait. Me and Elon Musk get to go to Mars, bro.
The Emperor of Mars.
Listen, I'm going to go stake claim. Oh, you brought up something earlier about Mars having, like, donuts blowing around and shit.
Oh, yeah. So, the most recent NASA probe, the deal with the helicopter and everything, the Martian Explorer thing, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's taken various still frames of, it was actually looking at a mountain on Mars. But in those still frames of the mountain, you can see something moving, which is not something we sent.
Listen, we're not a paranormal podcast.
No.
But what if it was a ghost?
It could be a ghost
of a donut.
That's what it looks like. It looks like a grey donut in the dust storm.
But what if it's a ghost? Or what if it's not? Listen, maybe that's like a spaceship, a biological spaceship that just looks transparent, kind of has that little like dusty look to it. Maybe. Just, as it moves through the concourse because it's moving in fourth dimension.
Maybe. I think more likely it's going to turn out to be some kind of Martian-specific weather phenomena, like a dust storm that is like a tumbleweed because something to do with the low air pressure or something. I don't know.
Something we don't understand about the physics of that planet. Yeah. Sure, certainly.
Yeah,
things that we can't conceive.
I don't think there's real donuts rolling around on Mars.
Well, it kind of feels like Homer Simpson, right? Like,
I know, right? I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so much as hungry as I am as thinking about now. I want to watch The Simpsons a little bit. Oh, so we were talking about earlier too, Rick and Morty. So
yes,
we were talking. That's kind of so. I'm going to say something about that. The first time I watched Rick and Morty, I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yes. It was like, what on earth is going on?
There's just so much going on, man. But once you grasp it just a little bit, you're like, oh, I get it. And it's like it's one of the funniest things that I've ever watched. Like it just so entertaining to me because it expresses how I feel in so many ways.
Super Pickle Rick
It points out things that are so futile.
conquers the universe.
Yeah, and it points out things that are so futile, but it's also very sadistic in how it does it.
Yeah, the example we had earlier was that so Morty's mom might die, and Rick will say, "Just get over it. There's infinite more versions of your mom. This is one. Just get over it."
Just get over it. This is the one that you know. There's other ones though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, but thinking about looking at yourself in the future, what if something like that, like the Rick and Morty situation, like it's a cartoon, but it's a fantasy land that you can think up and all that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you can. So sit here, think about if you can. You know,
You can what? What am I doing?
See your future self.
Oh, yes. Okay.
You're sitting here, you're sitting in the chair, we're recording the podcast, you click on the TV.
Okay.
You can't make any determination of it. You can only see a live action of it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's say current date, but excess of like, let's say 20 years or some shit like that. You can only watch a live stream of it. And you can only comment on the things that you see yourself doing. What do you see yourself doing, man?
Oh, interesting.
Turn the TV on. Click.
20 years from now?
20 years.
Well,
So you'll be like 100, right?
pretty close. I mean, by that account, I should be busy pushing up daisies, feeding the worms. Cheers, y'all.
20. Okay, so 20 years from now, so that'll put you around like 99 or anyway. So let's not say the age, but you still should be an active person. You should be able to be an active person. Let's just assume that things health wise.
Let's assume.
Let's
Despite
assume
my doubts. Let's
assume. Let's assume health-wise things sustain where they are.
For argument's sake, let's assume.
Yeah, can I grab one of that? Yeah, so for argument's sake, let's assume that is what happens. Your health sustains, and you're able to go off and do something, and you're still physically active. Let's say so.
Right, now I'm just one of those annoying older people who gets in everyone's
So
way.
it's 9:43.
Because they should be in bed already.
We're recording this on Wednesday the 26th at 9:43 p.m. That's what time it is right now. So
way past my bedtime.
2041. Yeah, we're watching you sleep right now, bro. Listen, you might be about to wake up.
This is my future.
Yeah, but what are you sleeping in, man? What's the bed you're laying in? Are you still sleeping on the Murphy in the shed, or what's up, bro?
Sleeping in the bed I made.
Sleeping in the bed you made. What's that bed look like?
You make your bed, you sleep in.
Yeah, but what's the bed you're looking at in the TV that's on right now? Look, you don't see the TV? Look, it's right there, bro.
Well, I mean, if all things go accordingly well, then I'll be in a probably quite a similar sized
retirement community.
Well, a similar sized hut or tiny home, similar to the one I'm in now, but with more intention when it was built. To fulfill that
we'll put it on stilts, so he has to climb a ladder, so he has to stay physically active.
So I break my neck potentially every day.
No,
you're just trying to get rid of me.
We'll put a slide. No, I'm trying to get you a damsel in distress, get you captured, and have you a prince or princess come save you.
Let down my hair. Let down my mullet. David, let down your mullet.
Yeah. So when the TV, what kind of bed you sleeping in, bro? You sleeping in silk sheets? What's up?
No, probably. I'm thinking a completely homemade bed, completely handcrafted.
From what, rocks?
Possibly. No, actually, I've always dreamt.
You've sat rocks up, contorted to your body, so that when you lay on it, it's the perfect.
Well, actually, funny you say that. When you're sleeping on the ground, bare ground, the good thing to do is actually dig out a little bit of a bowl. So, like maybe 12 inches around, maybe just a depression in the ground.
Depends on how big that donk is.
Well, it's actually for your hip, but sure.
I mean, how wide your hips are.
Basically, the bone of your hip will rest in that depression, allowing you to lay fairly flat and comfortable on the ground.
Oh, so the problem is we don't need pillows. We need to put butt divots in our beds.
Yes, put butt divots in your bed.
Dude, we need to design a mattress to where it has butt divots, but we have to create a sheet that fits over that.
Butt divot sheet.
Yeah, maybe it has magnets that pulls it tight and it'll slink.
Maybe it's suction based.
Ooh, maybe we do it with hemp sheets. That's the sheet you're sleeping on. Handcrafted hemp thread sheets that you wove yourself because you're over there spending your free time in your hut.
Well, yeah, I mean, the sheet's good, but as far as the mattress goes, my consideration is actually to use instead of a spring or anything like that, to use a strapping system.
Oh,
so basically,
so not hydraulics.
No, that's too futuristic for me. You know what a Luddite I am. You know how I prefer to go back to the more traditional methods and means. No, I mean, in the future, definitely, if I can find more simpler, more traditional ways of doing things, definitely I would focus on that.
You at least want to experiment with the traditional stuff, right? Or the formerly traditional stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of things I've forgotten because an easier way has been found to do it. But oftentimes that easier way skips a part
a process.
Parts of
a process. Man, everything comes down to a process. But anyway, so back on the TV. Don't want to lose focus on the TV.
TV.
So you're looking at yourself, man. Do you got your sleeping cap on? You got your stockings on? Or what are you doing? You Tarzan this shit?
Scrooge.
Yeah, Scrooge.
Scrooge with a duck in his nightgown, nightshirt, little bobble.
His moo-moo.
Yeah, little bobble cap.
No, anyways, okay, let's say it's 12 hours opposite. It's morning time. You've probably been awake for 14 hours already now, because it's 9 a.m.
I hope that when I get to that stage, I don't have to sleep so much anymore. Time will come precious.
So you're looking at yourself 9:43 in the morning. Actually, it's not 9. How long? 9:48 now. Good thing we don't edit.
Nobody's counting.
So, what if somebody is now? James is probably gonna go check.
Yeah, he'll check.
Now I'm gonna edit it just to mess with him.
Hi, James.
Did I, James?
Did he?
Let me know. I don't know if I did it or not.
Maybe
Anyways, so
maybe we won't know till the future.
Now we're at 9:48. We were at 9:48 a minute ago. Not even a minute ago. Maybe seconds ago. Time is irrelevant here. Okay, so what were we talking about?
Me waking up in the morning, wondering what I'm doing.
No, well, I assume at 9:48 you would be more awake than just waking up.
Generally, I hope so.
Yeah. So
even 20 years from now.
Would you have clipped your bonsai trees by now?
Oh man, in 20 years they'll be beautiful. If I keep them alive that long.
If the ones survive that we have transplanted, bro, they're gonna be so beautiful, so beautiful. I really hope they survive, man. Really hope they do, because they were pretty dead, pretty close to death when they were received.
Yeah, in all honesty, that is mostly on me. My work schedule interfered with my bonsai schedule, and hence the bonsai suffered a little before it got the proper attention.
We're hoping we can have them recovered.
Yes, we'll see.
So anyways, not to get on the sad shit, but so you've clipped up your bonsai trees. They've grown into these beautiful things. You've orchestrated these really beautiful presentations of these beautiful miniature trees, right?
Yep.
You know, you got your little setup. What's your setup look like? What's your bonsai setup look like, man?
Well, basically, you know, the pews or the, you know, at sports fields, you get the, what do you call them, the bleachers. So basically, imagine the bleachers on a smaller scale for bonsais. So it's basically a shelf, a stepped shelf on which the bonsais can rest. They sit, like in their pots, they sit along on the
staggered,
shelf.
like it's staggered shelf.
Yeah. So
cascading down.
Right.
Okay, so they're all easily seen with the view of looking at it. One does not obstruct the other. Each of them has their own beauty.
Right, they have their own space, of course. You know, but yeah, that way you can give them each one attention in turn and view them all, and you know.
So how many people did you have in there this morning showing them how to do that?
This morning?
Yeah, this morning in 20 years. Or in 12 hours in addition to. So tomorrow morning.
And tomorrow morning, you're right. Well, I think...
Did you have some eager students, or were there just some Luddites who were like, what are you doing, man?
Well, I mean, the people who seek out that, they obviously want to increase their
Obviously,
Knowledge
that was just a silly
So, yeah.
question. So I apologize. So, but anyway, so your students, or did you have students? Did you have anyone there to show them what you were doing and the things that had progressed and what they were and what they are?
Well, one of the local schools actually brought 8th grade.
Nice. All
So
right.
That was an interesting experience.
Wow.
You know, the questions of an 8th grader, yeah.
Imagine those questions though. So think of me as an 8th grader looking at somebody that's been doing this actively for 20 plus years now. And they're looking at all of this effort put into it and they ask you, why would you spend so much time doing that?
That is one of the main questions I got. Is like,
Wow.
why do you, why it takes so long? Why would you do that? What's the point?
What's the point in doing that? Why do you, dude, what are you doing, man? You could go do some other stuff, couldn't you?
Well, maybe I just gave him a slap on the back of the head and told him to go play Bonsai Merge.
Bonsai Merge.
Bonsai Merge Kingdom.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, hey, hang on, man. Do you mind if I change the channel and check out, see what old the wizard Wax is doing?
Sure.
Let's see.
See the adventures of the wizard.
Yeah. The fuck, man? I'm just sitting in a rocking chair on a porch.
Well, your youngest is old enough now to have kids of her own.
Yeah, all of my kids are grown. I'm out of the house. I'm retired. I'm just sitting on a porch, sitting on a rocking chair, looking off into the things in amazement that this is where my life has progressed. This is what accidentally happened.
Accidentally stumbled upon an intentional path.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier. Remember we were talking about like the discussion of like being a master of a martial art, but then also being a diverse martial artist and knowing different disciplines a little bit and all that stuff, right? And how all of those things, sometimes you can luck into knowing how to do something because of other trainings. Right.
Transferable skills, sure.
Yeah, the transferable skills. I guess that was the simplest way to put it that I couldn't find the words for earlier.
Sure, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, but the transferable skills, the things that you didn't know were relatable until you were in a situation where, oh shit, I know how to deal with this. Damn. Wow. How did I learn how to do that? Well, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just a weird way to perceive things and look at things and look at how, I don't know, not to get too hippy dippy and out there for people, not trying to lose folks. But no, so yeah, no, I look at myself in the future self and I see a happy man that feels like he's achieved what he set out to achieve. I feel like a driven man that is still driven but no longer driven.
So if you can see yourself in that success, can you identify what was a primary thing that led to that success?
That was some noises that I'm sure the bikes picked up. I think something fell into the back of the truck.
Some critter.
I hope it's a friendly critter.
I think it was Marco again climbing around.
Anyways, ask it again. I'm sorry that distracted me.
Now I'm completely lost. I got freaked out a little bit.
You were asking me if what was identified or what happened.
Oh yeah, so now that you see your future self, what was the primary thing that you think led to the success or led to that happy outcome?
I think me continuing to trust myself. I really do think that was because see, recently that's been the staple that's allowed me to feel like other things have made the most sense. So yeah, just my grasp on that maybe. But I think it was a compounding thing. I think it was multiple things.
Right.
But I think if to identify a singular thing that if that wasn't present, none of it else would be. I think it would be that.
Yeah, I think as far as future outcomes go, they're always cumulative results. It's never due down to one single thing. Of course, one single thing can have a great impact on the overall picture, but generally it's a series of things. You never just get fired because you turned up late.
Yeah,
you get tired.
It's a series of things.
It became a pattern, and you were sloppily dressed, and you were.
Or maybe that was the first thing that you actually rule broke. but you were being a real dick to everybody, but nobody could do anything about it. But the first offense that they could do something about it, they took the opportunity to do something.
Right. It's always a cumulative thing. It's never just one thing suddenly breaks the world, I don't think.
Yeah, so to point out back at the TV thing.
Although I think there's probably people listening who will disagree with me as far as they can name things that one thing shattered their entire reality, their entire existence.
Well, there was a build to that one thing, though.
Of course. So, yes, even in that case, it's a cumulative thing.
Yeah,
built up
that
over
may
time.
be the point that it broke, but the pressure had to build, right? Even in something breaking something, even if it's, you look at it at frames, it's a pressure build situation until there's enough pressure to break the the thing. So yeah, so there might be the break point, but if you zoom it in a little closer, look at the still frames. Yeah, there's a process. Anyway, so if you disagree, that's fine. We can discuss that.
Well, I mean, you can disagree, but nothing comes out of nothing, right? So
yeah. That shit.
Apparently, until we start talking about the Big Bang and.
Yeah, I don't know. We watched this video earlier.
That was interesting. It was entertaining and interesting.
Yeah, so back to the TV, back to watching me sitting in the rocking chair. I realized that the rocking chair that I'm sitting on it looks like on a porch of a house that maybe I constructed myself. It looks like it was constructed in a place where it's not easily accessed.
Well, look closely over the front door, the wooden plaque over it. Does it read, "I built this"?
It says Wizard's Place.
Okay, that's close enough.
Maybe this is just the hangout spot, though. Maybe this isn't actually where I live. Maybe this is just where I go.
This is where you go to annoy the youngsters with your wisdom.
Maybe this is my public. Maybe this is my place to meet people. Maybe I'm sitting there waiting to meet people.
Could be a coffee shop.
Could be. Could be like my Cheers. Man, never mind.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, I love that place too.
Nah.
So, so speaking of all of this stuff, the viewing yourself, the reality is all we're really trying to do is understand what the potential is, I think, of what is capable. And when you explore that, I don't know, I kind of believe that all things are possible. Not all things. There are some parameters on that, but I'm trying to suspend belief on some of those things sometimes.
Suspend disbelief.
Suspend disbelief. Suspend belief, maybe.
Suspend belief.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So you weren't trying to become a disbeliever.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Damn heathens.
Damn it, I've confused myself again. I do that sometimes.
Excuse me.
But anyway, so back onto the subject of whatever it is we were talking about,
which is identifying your
no. Yeah, just being able to viewing yourself in the future, just trying to see what capabilities are, what potentials are, what's possible, right? So obviously we did a little, I was talking a little silly about trying to imagine, the TV and seeing what you're looking at and stuff like that and seeing it in real time. And it's like trying to visualize what the future may look like. You know what I'm saying? Because perception of reality could create reality. I'm not sure if it does.
Well, I'll tell you what, this may sound really silly, and it kind of is. So when I was around the age of 16, I was working for Texaco service stations, gas stations, petrol stations, and it was a gas station, a petrol station, and it was a car wash and a little convenience store attached. So milk, snacks, magazines, drinks, little auto deals. And so there was an extensive magazine rack, and one of the magazines I picked up was one of those men's magazines, and it said, there was an article in there one time, it said that every man should have at least a 15-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and a 15-year plan. Where does he want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, and 15 years? Now, bear in mind, I'm 16 years old, and I'm reading this and going, damn, I need to have this plan. And like, what am I going to be doing in 5 years? I'll be like 21. Like, what? I can't. It was beyond kind of my grasp, really, to...
When am I going to have time to have fun?
Well, it's like the thing is like, okay, so I've got to have this plan. How do I even construct this plan? Based on what? Like, at that age, didn't really have a clear enough vision of where I intended my life to go in order to make that kind of a plan. But in retrospect, it was something that stuck with me throughout my life, and it's like chess. You don't just play for the next move. You play for the next 5, 10, 20, however far your mind is able to plan or sketch out those potential moves. That's how far ahead you plan. So that might be a year. Okay, if you can't manage a year, maybe 6 months, half a year. Okay, if you can't, 3 months. Okay, at least this week. Plan this week out. Know where you intend to be at the end of this week. Do you intend to be poorer than you are now, or do you intend to be slightly better off at the end of this week?
Listen, I can even break it down to a more attainable thing that me and my wife have been working on doing. Every single morning, what do you hope to have achieved by the end of the day?
Nice.
What are your goals for the day? And I try to limit it to 3. And the reason why I try to limit it to 3 is because I think that that's achievable. You can have a morning, a midday, and an evening goal, right? You can have something, you can give yourself time to maneuver between and still live your life, right?
Daniel, this is actually the perfect time for me to share something with you that I've been, and we can do it live on air, something I've been meaning to give you or pass on to you that I received from someone I would describe as essentially a stranger to me, but a very dear friend.
Right.
And what they do with their children is, at the end of the day, with each child, they ask them, what was the best thing about your day? What was the worst thing? Why? What made it the best thing? What made it the worst thing? And it's a very nice way of decompressing and really getting a little bit of like reflection on what actually happened.
Teaches reflection. I do think I engage with my kids in that way. I don't end the day that way, but I certainly do. But yeah, that might be something interesting to incorporate, because that's a good time for reflection. It's a good time for meditation.
Indeed.
That's a good time for self-reflection. That's the perfect time, actually. You're unbothered, you're alone, you're laying down, you're in bed, you're whatever, right?
You're winding down, relaxing.
You're getting comfortable. Yeah, no, that's a good time. That's a good time to examine those things. So yeah, we're gonna start wrapping this bitty bad boy up. So let's talk about the privacy aspect of all this stuff, man. This is the important thing to me.
Right. So the thing about this is, if you had knowledge of your future self, at what point does that begin? Does that begin at birth? When you're born, you suddenly now know everything you're going to do? Now, there's certain things I, as a mature adult, have done and perhaps intend to do again at some point, maybe in the future, who knows, that I would not feel comfortable, even myself as a much younger person, being exposed to.
Yeah, I don't think I want that knowledge, man. I think I want to experience that once, right? I don't want to have knowledge of it then have to experience it, because that's almost like torture.
Well, there is that element that you would be denied actually experiencing it, because you would already have knowledge of it before you've experienced it. So you'd be denied that. But also, is it really appropriate for you to know certain things before you've gone through other experiences prior to that?
I don't think so.
We're going straight to third base, Yeah. Like let's calm things down here a little bit. Let's
call it what it is.
Let's start with first base maybe here first. And then, if you're lucky, you might get through to second, and then we'll talk.
Maybe if you're good at swinging a bat, you can get to triple though.
Maybe if you're real good, but that's a challenge that you need to face, not just be handed it. Here's
let me offer
third base on a platter.
Let me offer you this is an alternate reality. Just what if from this point, every decision you make is based upon what the 8-ball tells you?
Oh yeah, shake
the
it.
Magic 8-ball. You shake it. You ask it your question.
Oh, of course. First ask, yes.
You ask it, hey, Magic 8-ball, what is my question? I give you the question. Magic 8-ball says, my sources say no. Damn it. It was supposed to be a yes or no question. Let me re-ask.
Probably not. Probably?
Yeah, see, listen. Now you have an alternate universe to where all of your decisions are based upon the Magic 8-ball. Do you still think you're shaking the 8-ball, asking it the same fucking questions, trying to get the same answer that you started with?
The thing is, okay, so as ridiculous
you're
as
stubborn, bro. You might be
as ridiculous as that sounds. For instance, in Batman, there's a character called Two-Face, and he makes his decisions based on the flip of a coin. because he thinks justice can only be served completely impartial. So for it to be completely impartial, it has to be completely up to chance. So he flips a coin to decide whether someone dies or not. He is a villain. It's sometimes a hero, but mostly a villain. So yes, and I think that being a characterization of a human element, I think people do that they decide very arbitrarily yes or no, right or wrong.
Yeah, they make it just a quick decision on it, like a yes or no, right? Also, if you think about this, if you don't have the responsibility of making that decision, you leave that decision made to a magic 8-ball. It's like, ain't my fucking fault. This thing told me to fucking do it, man.
Yep. I didn't mean to
I'm at the whim of the 8-ball, bro.
I didn't mean to be a serial killer. The ball told me to. The devil made me do it.
Yeah, but then the privacy issues come into play. Is like, why are you asking it that, bro? Don't you have better things to ask the magic 8-ball?
Well, what if the magic 8-ball was actually owned by the police?
Oh shit! Like it's recording you?
No, like the police ask, is such and such going to commit a crime? They shake it and go, "Oh yeah, he will."
Oh, what about if you had?
Let's go
what
grab
if you
him.
had a group of triplets that had precognition skills and they could see the future and they could see a crime being committed, and then you get charged with the crime you didn't actually commit, but
Right.
you were going to because they know the future.
Yes. Or
Oh,
maybe
what was that? Minority Report?
Minority Report, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah.
Well, the third one didn't think you committed the crime. That was a Minority Report. So there's always a chance again, you know.
Yeah. So can you? Well, also, if seeing the future, does that mean that that's what it is, or is that just an interpretation of what you see the future as?
As a potential outcome.
Yeah. I don't think that. See, the thing is, I think it's impossible to see the future. I do think that maybe possible to see the past, but then if you can see the past, then you can see the future. I think you have the ability to see the past first before you can see the future.
Okay, so the flaw with Minority Report, where they were basically arresting criminals before they've committed the crime that they're being arrested for, is by interfering in that way, arresting someone before they've committed the crime never occurs.
They never learn the lesson.
Therefore, they have not actually ever committed anything that they're being held for. The intent, you're being arrested for the intention, as if the intention was actual committing the crime.
Ooh, yeah, that's
like
rough,
how many
bro.
times? Think to yourself honestly. Think how many times in your life have you had a really negative, vicious thought where maybe you even wish death.
Too many times to count.
You know what I'm saying? You like,
yes.
Well, I just hope he falls on his head and dies. You
It's
know?
like sure would suck if he didn't show up no more.
Right.
Sure,
That would be a shame.
Sure would be a shame.
Right. And be honest with yourself. And maybe not to that extent, but maybe you hope that someone would get embarrassed maybe because they're a bitch and they deserve to get embarrassed.
I hope you get shamed for your things.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Me too.
Yeah, so the Minority Report thing,
Right.
man, that's weird, the precognition thing. So to reiterate all of the other stuff. So what are the potential outcomes? What are the potential consequences? The potential consequences are whatever you perceive the potential to be. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you perceive things as challenges, they're going to be challenges, right? But if you see them as opportunities to catapult yourself, then that's what they will be.
Yes.
Right? It's all how you perceive these things. Right? So the potential of consequences is based upon your perception. So if your perception is of that looking down upon something or negative or whatever, consider that might be the outcome. Maybe not certainly, but maybe.
Potentially.
So, and then would it change your actions? Would viewing yourself with yourself had future knowledge if your current self had knowledge of your future self, would that change your actions? I certainly think that it would change your actions. I actually think without question it would change your actions.
Yeah, I think, if you it's kind of difficult when you think on the long term, but if you narrow it to a shorter time period. So for instance, if you were driving down a road and you intended to take a particular junction or turn, but then you had knowledge that when you do so you're going to get stuck in traffic for 50 minutes, then you go, oh no, I'm going to turn left instead of right.
Yeah, it's like you're going to pre-route a shortcut so you never have to deal with that shit.
Right.
Or you're going to just find a whole nother way.
Right.
Just to avoid that headache.
Right. And I know you implied a little bit earlier there that you would be denied yourself a challenge, an opportunity to grow or learn. But that's true, but on certain, I think in instances, there's unnecessary waiting or unnecessary delay that you can do without.
Yeah, certainly. I think so, and I think that might give you an ability to shortcut. But it just means that you have the opportunity to learn more lessons, different lessons, right? That's all the shortcuts for, is just to get to more lessons. It doesn't unlock some magic box; it just gets you to more lessons.
Yeah, so I was talking with my sister Justine a little while back, and we're talking about the experiences in our life that lead us to who we are now, and would we choose, if possible, to go back and change any of those experiences. Both of us agree that no, we wouldn't, because without those experiences, we wouldn't be who we are now.
Yeah,
those are necessary experiences.
Yeah, I love that I am who I am. I hate that this is how I had to get here, but I wouldn't change a fucking thing, because I needed to experience those things so I could share. So I could share those things that I experienced, so the people that don't have the ability to say and speak those things, maybe something I can say can spark that in them so that they can express it, right? To me, it's always down to expression, the ability to express. And I think that I want more people to be able to express, and I like to explore different ways to do that. And I think that that's something the podcast represents too, is just different ways to explore expression. On a fundamental level, there's more, but on one instance, it is to explore expression, right? So, but whenever we look at all these things, and then the third thing would be privacy issue, but when we look at all of these things and how they all group together, it all comes down to really what you perceive, right? So even the privacy issue, I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't want my future or my past self viewing what my current self is doing. I would feel that was an infringement.
Well, your future self would know what your past self has done.
Yeah, but that's true. It would only be the past self looking at the future self that would, or the current self looking at the future self.
That's interesting, though. So essentially, I mean, apart from the explicit material 18 plus or whatever you want to talk about, the things that you've done after now in the future that you wouldn't feel comfortable your past self knowing about, that if you look at it, that presents actually there's some conflict there as far as your moral assessment, because really if your moral assessment was how do you say, I don't want to say standard, I don't want to say if it was consistent, yes, if your moral standard was consistent throughout time, then anything you do at any time should be acceptable to you at any time throughout your time.
Absolutely. Again, but it depends upon perception. Maybe there's parts of your life that are blocked out for a reason. Maybe maybe that's a protection thing. Maybe that's a way that you've offered yourself an opportunity to get past and move forward, to be able to progress, because it was such a cloud, right? And whenever those things arise, maybe you don't want them to see that experience until it has to happen, right? Maybe you don't want them to know about that, because that privacy thing, it's like it's not so much about the moral of I don't want you to see what it is. It's like I don't want you to suffer more than you have to.
Yeah, I guess if my past self knew about the grief I experienced through the loss of a loved one now, that would put grief on them before they needed to experience it.
But then also, do they ever learn the process of dealing with that grief if they see how you have, like, if they don't see the process of dealing with it, right? They, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's some philosophical things to discuss there. I don't really think we have time to do that right now.
Right.
But as far as the privacy thing, it's not so much as the not for me specifically, but you do bring up a very good point about morally. If you're morally consistent, then you should be okay with your past self, hoping to look up to, aspire to be that, right? Hoping that it was a good example.
Well, I mean, ideally you will have improved from the past, become more refined, more, attuned to what you actually...
But maybe they see something that scares them from doing that they need to experience. They need to experience that to get the outcome that they get, but they see something that they're scared to experience. So that privacy thing too is like, you can't see this. You have to wait till it shows up to catch that miracle.
Sure. I think I can definitely envisage instances where knowing that some situations coming up in the future that would maybe want to deter you from actually engaging in that. So like knowing that you will face a very, very near-death experience at some point in the future, you may try to find some way to avoid that, to not be there or to change the circumstances.
But that's necessary in what the outcome is.
Yes.
All right. So do you think that we've discussed the viewing your future self currently and viewing your future self in those three aspects of What are the potential consequences? Would it change your actions? And the privacy issues.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? How do you feel about those three in context of the question? Those three things. Do you feel like we discussed it and we aired it out? So
I think we gave a good, fairly rounded coverage of all three aspects.
I want you guys to know this conversation this is the first time we had this conversation. Now we've talked about other things in relation to, and we had to come up with a show sheet, but this is really how the conversations take place. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that we showed back up to a place we haven't been to in a while, that we recorded a certain way, a certain style, and we kind of got back into the mode of that a little bit more and improved and enhanced, right? And then now we're paying again a little tribute into that, into a little bit of a different type of episode and how we approached it. But it's more like the homage thing, what we did a little bit in the past, but it's kind of our way of doing it now.
I wonder if the mics are picking up any of the cicadas and tree frogs.
I really hope so. There's just a bunch of noises going on, man. This is a beautiful sound. I'm really happy to have been here. 52, man. Really happy to have gotten it this far. But if you feel like we've exhausted that, I think that I'm going to pull up the quote again.
Yeah.
The Led Zeppelin Kashmir.
Hit the cash.
And wrong page. Not the wrong page. Just. Okay.
Yeah, almost like we're in the Louisiana swamp here.
Yeah, so Kashmir.
So who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
What do you mean, who am I?
Who are you?
I'm a traveler of both time and space, man. To be where I've been, to sit with the elders of the gentle race. This world has seldom seen. They talk of days in which they sit and wait. All will be revealed. So that is Kashmir. That is a part of the intro of Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, so the music really does a number to add to that song, but
yeah.
the lyrics themselves are very powerful. As I was reading them earlier and we were discussing them, very, very powerful. I didn't realize how influential Led Zeppelin was in my line of thinking, though, right?
Yeah, right. The lyrics you listen to, and the meaning that gets not instilled or that seeps into you. Yeah, it's influential.
So whenever I was in high school, I was talking about wearing the bell bottoms or the boot cut. Like, they weren't bell bottoms; it was the closest thing to bell bottoms was boot cuts. And then the flannels, the parted hair. Trying to think I was from the 70s, listening to Led Zeppelin, stuff like that, man. It was a direct influence on how I am right now.
For sure.
Right. So whenever we're talking about this Kashmir stuff and things like that, man, Led Zeppelin's the reason why I learned how to play guitar. One of the reasons, right? They were a big inspiration for me.
Nice.
And then we go back and we're doing this damn podcast, and now we're using it for quotes on the podcast, man. It's almost in some ways paying homage again to ways that have been built to this.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
I read the lyrics of Kashmir, and I see those things, and I really feel attached to the things around me. I'm a traveler of both time and space. Two separate things. I travel time by progressing through it, and I travel through space because everything is a frame. Everything is powerful shit for me.
Yeah, for real.
So how do you feel about that, man?
Feel good, man. I love it. I mean, I think in 51, we talked about how the things we gain from music and books and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, it's nice that we found another way in that we can draw inspiration from other people's creations.
Yeah, wait till
I love that.
Wait till you see some of the rap lyrics things that I've been trying to put together with some of the quotable things. I'm trying to be creative with some of them, trying to find a style a little bit. Stay tuned on the buymeacoffee.com/Dryftwood to catch some sneak peeks of some of those things, because we'll release some things on there that we probably won't put on social media. So if you want to have a say in some of that things, go check it out there. That'll probably be the spot where we have a bunch of repeat stuff, but different styles, and kind of get you guys' opinions on what's going on there. So again,
blooper reel may be coming up soon.
Yeah, so buymeacoffee.com/Dryftwood, Dryftwood. Also, don't forget to listen or share and tell everyone they can listen to the podcast for free.
Yeah, please share, guys.
You can check it out on Amazon.com. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Cheyenne Wilson, my wife. She has officially published a short story, and I really appreciate it if you guys would at least go check it out. It's called Crossing of Paths by Cheyenne Wilson. So it's available on Amazon. If I can get the link together, I will put the link in the episode description. This is a free plug for her. She did not ask for this. I'm just really proud of her, and I hope that it serves to inspiration other people. She's always wanted to be an author. She self-published her own short story.
Nice.
So go check it out, guys. Also, if you want to reach out to us, if you have questions, you want advice or any of that shit, you know what I'm saying, email us at the Dryftwood Podcast at gmail.com. Listen, we're really looking to interact with you guys, but we don't really like social media so much. But if you need some direct interaction, just email us. Either it's only me and David will respond to it.
Yeah, send us an email. Before you know
if you need help with something,
we'll be texting, we'll be on the phone, you know, whatever is appropriate.
Yeah, we're always looking for ways to help, and if you think that there's some way that we may be able to help, give us a holler. So you guys have a good day. We love you. We really appreciate all of the support and everything that you guys have helped us to achieve. Can't wait for the next big things to come. Can't wait, man. I hope you guys stay tuned so that you can enjoy the ride with us. You guys have a fantastic day, and thank you again for listening.